Hello, welcome to lesson 17. In this lesson, I will be talking about records in Erlang. So basically, records are the tuples, but the description of tuples, basically. So you may remember, I will show it in the example, some tuples, they didn't have the structure. So it was for the large, especially large tuples, it was quite hard to say what is the structure of this tuple because it was only it didn't have any structure. I will be talking how to create and update records, how to extract single field and old fields from records, how to do pattern matching in functions related to records, and how records are just tuples. So I will also show this. In this video, I will also show the Erlang header, how to create Erlang header with records. So let's start. Let me go to Erlang shell, and here I would like to show one thing, which is some simple tuple, message one. And if you remember, usually first element in the tuple is describing what this tuple represents, and then we can have, for example, something like this. And this is the tuple which describes for me a message. Let's say, okay, I know that this is the message, but I may not know whether this is from, whether this is the sender of the message, or this is the receiver, which one of these users are sender and which are receiver. And also in other situations, I could have such problems. So I may have some two integers and I don't know whether one represents the weight, another height. I would have to basically check other examples in the code or note it somewhere. Now records are come for the rescue here, and let me demonstrate how I could use records to let's say describe the structure of the tuple. Before this, maybe I will also open the notepad, and here I will type how to define the records. So records are defined in the file HRL, which is HRL extension is just a Erlang header. Like if you were programming in C or C++, or I think in Objective-C, there were headers which describes the common definitions, data structures, constants, and so on. Now, in such HRL file, the conventions is like this: the name of the record, and then here there is a description of the structure, and here we can have, for example, from. Let's say this is the description of the of my message, right? So here we could have the from or the sender, and by default I don't have any value. I have the receiver of the message and I have the text. And let's say in this case the text by default is empty string. So I can, in the record definition, I can define by writing the equals and the value term, and I can define what is basically the default value for this. So I could also write something like this. So by default sender is empty string, and receiver is empty string. But if I will leave it unassigned, unbound, then it will be undefined. So by default, this means that this value, if it doesn't have a value, is undefined. Okay, so this is the structure of the record. So let's define one record. For this reason, I will create new file, message, HRL, and here I will just type record, and here my message, and the description of fields, and then the dot. So first field will be sender, undefined by default, receiver, sender of the message, receiver of the message, and text of the message. So this is my record in the HRL header file. Let's now see how we can use it in Erlang shell. So in this case, since this is header, I'm not writing C to compile, I'm writing something like read record RR, and here I'm typing message HRL, and it tells me that there are no records defined. Let me quit and see what's inside. Okay, just a second. First of all, message HRL should have. So I want to say that the text is empty, and yep, sorry, this is the atom which describes the record. So it should be lowercase. The uppercase would be not interpreted correctly. And also the lowercase for the fields in the record, because these are also atoms which describe the record. Let's try again. Read record. And now I got the list of records read from a message header, and this is only a message record. Now let's try to create this record from Erlang shell. So I will type something like message. If I type something like this, it will create the new message with default values. Yes, so now I need to write something like this. And this, as you can see, since I didn't define default values for sender and receiver, these are undefined, and the text is empty string. So now let's create some message one, and here we will type something like sender is, for example, Mike, receiver is John, and the text is hi John. Now it created a new record, and underneath it created the tuple, and this is the message from Mike to John with the text hi John. Let's now try to create message 2, and I will show how to create the copy of message 1, and I will change only one field, message 2. This is message 2, and this is copy of message 1, and I'm typing something like this to say that this is it should take all the fields from message 1 but one changed here. So the things which will be changed will overwrite the values in message 1. The rest will be copied. So I want to say this message, but I want to change the sender. Sender now was George, let's say. And as you can see, I set only sender based on message 1, and now this message 2 looks exactly like message 1, but the sender was changed. The rest of fields are copied. So this is how you can easily reuse values from existing record. Let me now show you how you can extract values from the record. So if you want to extract all the values, and there is a pattern matching which you can expression which you can be used, something like message sender equals sender, receiver equals receiver, and then the text equals text, and then to this I want to assign message 1. And now it will assign the sender of this message 1 to the sender, sender variable, receiver of this message 1 to receiver, and text as well. So sender now is Mike, receiver is John, and the text is Hi John. So this is how you can extract all the fields from the record to different variables, like I did for sender, receiver, and text. It's also possible to access single field by writing message2 message dot text, and then I have Hi John. So this is the if I want to extract only one value, I can also use this dot notation, dot syntax. Okay, so this is it. Let me now create simple module to demonstrate how to do the pattern matching of records in functions. So I have my message header. I will also create message module message. Then I want to include message HRL. So this is my record definition is known, and I want to export print message, and it will take only one argument, which is the record, some message. And I want to make this method to print the message. So the definition print message will be something like this. I want to type that this will be message record, which will be here, and then here I want to write sender equals to sender, or S for short, R, receiver will be R, and the text will be T. And also I want to have the access to complete record, which will be then M. If I will write something like this, now in the function I can use sender of the message as S, receiver as R, and text as T. As I can as also access complete record by accessing M. So let's try. I will start with accessing these values, IO format, and I will type message, and then the new line. Here I type comma, because this is not the end of the my function. Now from, I want to type who sent the message, and in this case I will keep this in S. I want to also type to, so to whom the message will be sent. And I want to type text. So what was the content of the message? I can type T and the dot. And now I need to run Erlang. I need to read the record to create the record in Erlang shell. HRL message HRL. Okay, the record is read, and now I can type message sender, for example, Adam, receiver, Peter, and the text will be hello Peter, this is Adam. This is my message, and now I want to compile my module, which is something like this. Okay, M is currently not used because I'm not accessing a record using the dot notation or in any, and I'm not updating any field in there, therefore it's not used. It's fine for now, since this is just a demo. I can type message print message and then message, and then as you can see it will print my message. Let's say that I would like to also have some kind of method which will update sender. So it will just update the sender message, and here I can just have message equals to M, equals message equals to M, and the second argument, or the first argument, will be sender. The first argument is sender, and then the next argument will be the message. And then now I can type something like M and then message sender equals sender. So this way I will be able to update the sender of the message. Let's try how it will work. So read the record, message HRL, compile message, of course I need to also export. Forgot about this important step, so I need to export update sender with RET2. Okay, and now I will create message, let's say message which will have sender, me, receiver, George, text, hi, it's me. something like this. Now my message is created, and let's try to update sender. Update sender, and the first value should be the value to which the sender should be set. Let's say Mike, and then message. Okay, so now of course message is still has the old values, but I can assign it to message one, and now it gave me updated record where the mic is set to sender. Also, very important, I was talking about guards, so maybe I will mention this also. There is a guard which allows us to test if input value is a record of given type. Let me maybe show it with the example. Is message. I will create a new method is message, and I will do something like this. X when is record. So this is the guard which checks if X is a record of type message. I can return true. Oops. Message X, I can return false. Okay. So this is a very simple guard which allows me to check if input value, if this X is a record of type message. So this is the guard which tests if this X is a record of type message. It will return true if it is and false otherwise. I also need to export it. Okay, Erlang read record. Let's take first definition of message, then I will compile a message module. And the last thing I want to do is to create some record. In this case, I'll just create a record with default values, and I will have some value string, not a message. Yeah, so this is the a string. So if I will call is message for this message, I will get true. And if I will call it for value, I will get false. So this is how to use this guard is record. Now let me just show you the last thing. If I will type message, now you've seen here I read records from this message header HRL, and if I will type message, I will get information about the structure. So I told you that underneath this thing there is a tuple. Now let me to demonstrate it to you that it's really a tuple. Let me write something like record forget, and now I want to forget the definition of message. Okay, it was removed. What happens if I will type just message? I get the information that this is a tuple. It has the first element is a message, so the atom which says what type of tuple this is. Then I have this undefined, then this undefined, and then the text. So it's yeah. So as you can see, records are really the templates or the documentation for tuples. That's it for this video. In the next video, I will be talking about maps. Thanks for listening and stay